Art is a bridge uniting everyone from all humanities, backgrounds, and cultures. Art allows empathy between us and others. It is a preserver of history and a lifetime of eras. It fulfills our senses of beauty and motivates us through inspiration. And what a better way to familiarize ourselves with a place and its history through unveiling destinations and their distinctive arts. Istanbul is uniquely placed on the map, uniting Eastern and Western cultures, separated by the Bosphorus Strait. It is diverse in its population due to its rich art and culture and layers of history. It has 39 different districts, but each district is unique and characteristic in its own way, combining areas of exploration and iconic landmarks. Here in Galata has turned into a place not only in Istanbul, but the entire country of Turkey, where art and culture have united together. Known as one of the most dynamic, popular, and visited areas, Galata is a district that stands out with its different architectural and social identities. It has become a city within the city. A pioneer of modernization within Istanbul, Galata is famous for hosting the first in the Ottoman period. Along with the Republic, Turkey's initial factories and workshops were added to the mix of this developing area.
Şimdi bu Galata dediğiniz yer var ya, şu mıntıka. Türkiye'nin kalbiydi. Bana şimdi bak, un fabrikaları burada bak. Un fabrikaları. Bak, un fabrikaları burada. Kilit, menteşe fabrikaları hep Galata'da. Ne sanayide ne istesen hepsi burada. Konya'da bir makine kuracaksın. Muhakkak parçaları gelip Galata'da yaptıracaksın. Yani Türkiye'nin kalbiydi burası.
The famous Galata Tower, rising to the sky, still exists as a living witness of its history. Not too far from this point stands an iconic landmark, over 250 years old, which opens a window to Istanbul's mysterious past. St. Pierre Han is the embodiment of 3 centuries of change and development of this town. Despite its abandoned appearance today, St. Pierre Han still triggers curiosity with its stance that has defied centuries. Long corridors, windows, adjoining rooms, stairs, separating floors, all whisper the stories of individuals who once lived and worked here. Here, Professor Akyürek will enlighten us with this landmark's architectural features and historical background.
Galata has been always an important commercial hub, and this building, which is not so showy actually if you look at the architectural features, but still it's a very important building because it reflects the architectural and spatial practices of its time, which was built at the end of 18th century by the French ambassador. Also, there's a later added arm, which belongs to late 19th century, that says that André Chenier had lived in this building, and the complex is made of 5 different blocks, and they were connected in time. And this third story, which we are in, was added later in 1860s when the building was used as the first Ottoman bank.
Along with many significant beginnings in this building, one of the first architectural offices was established by architect Gaspare Fossati.
Gaspare Fossati, who has been a very important architect, who renovated Hagia Sophia, who built St. Pierre Church also, built many important buildings like the Russian Palace also. He had his office here.
Professor Akre, what about the first workshops that were first established here in St. Pierre?
In mid-20th century, the building and the GALATA region started to change its function. And we see many small industry taking place here, like a mustard workshop manufacturer, a jeans manufacturer like Muhteşem KOT and his small industry business. He started here.
Each aspect of Saint-Pierre-Han goes back to different historical pasts. The first bank, architectural offices, various workshops, blacksmiths, weavers. Each room is like a time machine in itself. Machine sounds are entwined with dreams and hopes of individuals who once had a presence here. One individual who was once present in Saint-Pierre-Han was a young man chasing his dreams, Muhteşem KOT. He became the man who first labeled blue jeans as KOT in Turkey. Blue jeans came to life in 1873 thanks to the designs of Levi Strauss, along with the sewing styles and copper rivets that we have on our jeans, as we see here, invented by Jacob Davis. It was such a sturdy fabric that it was immediately accepted by the miners in the United States. During World War II, blue jeans were carried onto the streets and became the symbol of pop culture. Historian Özal will inform us regarding the progress and usage during this era.
İkinci Dünya Savaşı ekonomik alanda ve küresel boyutta son derece önemli ve geniş kapsamlı sonuçlar doğuruyor. Ancak savaşın sosyal ve kültürel etkilerine baktığımızda insanların yaşam tarzını tamamen değiştirdiğini söyleyebiliriz. Blue Jeans'in bu değişiminde aslında Amerikan ordusunun askerleri başrolü üstleniyorlar. Gerçi Amerikan ordusunda 1901'de donanma, 1919'da kara kuvvetleri Blue Jean kumaşından yapılmış olan iş elbiselerini ve üniformaları kullanmaya başlamış vaziyette. 1933 yılında kara, deniz ve hava unsurlarının tamamı tek parça Blue Jean kumaşından yapılmış bir elbiseyi dizayn ediyorlar ve bu orduda özellikle şoförler, mekanikerler ve diğer askeri personel tarafından kullanılmaya başlanıyor. 1943 yılında ordu için 24 milyon parça ve fabrikadaki işçiler için 15 milyon parça Blue Jean'dan yapılmış kıyafet üretiliyor. Savaştan sonra da baktığınızda bunun devam ettiğini görüyorsunuz. Tabii buradaki önemli nokta savaş sırasında Amerika'daki fabrikalarda genellikle kadınlar ağırlıklı bir şekilde çalıştıkları için savaşın hemen sonrasında kadın Blue Jean tasarımlarının geliştiğini ve adeta bir pazar ortaya çıktığını görüyorsunuz. Ve Amerika'daki kadınların giyim tarzının seyri aslında sonsuza dek belki de değişiyor. Tabii savaşın sonunda önemli iki tane unsur var Blue Jean'in dünya çapında tanınmasını sağlayan. Biri rock and roll müziğin etkisindeki tırnak içinde asi Amerikan gençliğinin Blue Jean'i bir başkaldırı simgesi haline getirmesi. Bir diğeri de aslında ünlülerin Blue Jean'i tercih ederek giymeye başlamaları.
Celebrities such as Marlon Brando, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, and James Dean wore blue jeans in their films photographs, and among the public, which brought an unstoppable rise. Blue jeans, which used to be the symbol of the rebellious youth, was now a product worn by everyone, from hippies to anarchists, from workers to wealthy people. So much so that elite places like restaurants, theaters, and concert halls could no longer turn blue jean wearers away from the door.
An interesting aspect of the story is the actual production of the blue jean fabric. In his study of the history of commerce and based on the archives of the Marseille Chamber of Commerce, French historian Paul Masson's findings state that these coarse blue cottons were actually exported from Izmir, Turkey to Marseille, France, and thereafter sold through Spain.
Dr. Katsumi Fukasawa draws attention to the trade between southeastern Anatolia and Marseille in his work titled Trade in the Levant During the 18th Century, From Aleppo to Marseille. Fukasawa expresses the importance of this trade according to these words. Cotton trade is one of the factors which played a very important role in the growth of trade between France and the Levant. Marseille was the warehouse of Levant cottons, and from there, these cottons were exported to the interior of France, as well as to the coasts of Spain, Italy, Central America, and Africa. Cottons come first among manufactured goods imported from the Levant. These durable and inexpensive blue cottons were used by Spain and Portugal to dress workers employed on South American plantations. The fibers of cotton varieties grown in Anatolia were thick and strong, suitable for making coarse cotton. These cottons, dyed with indigo imported from India, were consumed by a large scale of the population.
The rooted meaning of denim comes from the French, sage de Nîmes, translated as a sturdy fabric from Nîmes, a city located in southern France.
In the 18th and 19th centuries, Nîmes was once the home of a booming textile industry, producing many fabrics. These fabrics began exporting to North America, which, at the time, caught the eye of then businessman Levi Strauss. He renamed this fabric as denim, which later became known as blue jeans. With this new workshop he had developed here in Saint-Pierre-Han, Muhteşem KOT was the person who was responsible for introducing this fabric to Turkey. Thanks to his last name, even today in the Turkish language, it is pronounced as KOT. Although it was done unintentionally, the brand label of KOT began its own journey in Turkey. A Yugoslavian immigrant, Muhteşem KOT began his career as a tailor's apprentice. This determined young man received his education at La Devise d'Hérault in France, the most prestigious tailoring school of its time. While studying in France at the end of the 1940s, this cheap and durable fabric called denim jeans caught the attention of Muhteşem KOT. When he returned to Turkey in the 1960s, he established his own manufacturing workshop of this denim. Located here on the first floor of Saint-Pierre-Han. Shortly thereafter, he began to produce 200 jeans per day.
Saint-Pierre-Han 250-260 senelik bir han. Bulunduğu sokağın ismi de biliyorsunuz Eski Banka Sokak. En üst kata çıktığınızda orada hemen karşınızdaki sağlıkta karşınıza hemen tornacı Şinasi Bey gelirdi. Bizim de bulunduğumuz yer, bölümümüz hemen sağlıktan sonraki sağ taraftaydı.
In the 1980s, the transition to a free market economy had begun. In time, and in parallel with the transformation of the city, Saint-Pierre-Hand began to lose its suitability to produce textiles. Meanwhile, consumers were attracted to purchasing foreign labels, symbolizing modernity, popularity, and status, therefore enabling local producers to compete with the demands of global brands.
KOT, which was once the unwavering leader in the Turkish domestic market, was forced to close down his shop in 1992. But as we all know, with every challenge, an opportunity presents itself.
In the 1990s, many changes and advances began to occur along with the new free market economy. First, highly skilled, low-cost labor force in Turkey became attractive for foreign manufacturers for production, similarly to Russia, China, and Hong Kong. Second, exporting rules and regulations in Turkey softened, therefore increasing textile exports. Third, Turkey became a new market for domestic and international manufacturers due to increasing demand. Therefore, the ecosystem revolving around the local textile industry began to establish itself. With these new changes and advancing competition on the rise, the production of blue jeans expanded from Galata to Mercan to Eminönü and to the Grand Bazaar. Local producers were selling second-hand quality jeans, similar to the designs of global brands, where consumers were able to purchase at a lower cost and buy styles that were difficult to find.
However, it became apparent that in order for the current textile industries to be able to compete on a global scale, they must strategically position themselves innovatively in order to keep up with the changing of times.
One of the most important strengths for the growth of the textile industry in Turkey is the geographical location, especially for EU markets. Short logistic and delivery opportunities are available because of its positioning. Along with land and air transportation, marine transportation expanded not only to the country, but also to the neighboring countries such as the EU region. Having similar cultures and preferences helped Turkey to produce apparel wear suitable for the taste and lifestyles of consumers in the EU. In 1996, Turkey also established a customs union with the European Union, which also aided in the growth of the EU-Turkey trades and investment opportunities. With the combination of factors such as access to domestic cotton production, similar lifestyles of the EU market, highly skilled workforce, and progress it has received through infrastructure and technology, textile clothing industry has been the backbone of the economy since the 1980s. Turkish business people had already developed the expertise and know-how through their forefathers, along with the highly qualified technical personnel and skilled labor force. Access to basic raw materials such as cotton provided Turkey to form a competitive edge in relation to price and quality. The Turkish textile machinery industry also had an integral role that played in the growth of the Turkish textiles industry. At the beginning of the 1980s, local production of textile machinery and equipment manufacturing began, whereas prior to that, nearly textile machinery were imported. Turkey is ranked 10th among textile machinery export countries and has a share of 2.9% of the total. Looking ahead, technological transformational trends in global textile machinery are vastly developing due to the current sensitivities in water consumption and environmental impacts. More recently, Turkey has become the fourth largest exporter of textiles worldwide, leading with the following countries: Germany, Spain, United Kingdom, United States, accounting for almost 3.3% of all exports. Turkey is also ranked 7th as a leading global cotton producer. Regarding the number of persons employed in retail sale of textiles in specialized stores in Turkey, from 2009 to 2019, we see an interesting slow downfall. This raises the question, where is this heading and what's going on?
These days, as you know, there is a lot of new pressures and challenges that are coming within the apparel wear, has been focusing on sustainability. Into the future, as we are now looking into the shopping experience in a shop, but as well the digital transformation, the e-com.
E-commerce in Turkey has boasted sales growth over the past 3 years. It is a dynamic market, the youngest nation in Europe, with 39% of its population 24 or below. As these young consumers are rapidly evolving, smartphones, social media, and online purchasing behaviors are growing and creating change in the world of traditional retail purchasing behaviors. New developments in the area of communication, including the internet, have allowed companies to expand further in local industries and enter new markets, with added advancements in marketing strategies. Therefore, the distance between textile companies and consumers have shortened. The textile industry is different than what it used to be, giving importance to the environment, human health, creativity, sustainability, trademark, quality, marketing, and the rise of e-commerce have all created a modern outlook for the upcoming agenda in textiles. Blue jeans has a strong presence in our daily lives and has become a symbol of equality for all countries, cultures, race, and religions. Professor Narlı describes the impact of blue jeans in our daily lives.
Denim was an ordinary attire, but today denim has become fashionable, chic attire. People from all social classes, people from all ethnic groups, religious groups, conservative people, modern people, they all wear blue jean today. People combine their blue jean with their traditional dresses. What we have been observing, such an ordinary attire, blue jean, has gained charisma. In the late 19th century, workers were wearing denim, but today many people, they wear denim in all social contexts, it goes with everything, and then in all situations, wearing blue jean is accepted, it is legitimized, and it is preferred by many people because it is practical. Blue jean, it's a global phenomenon, but it has a local aspect. And as a sociologist, also I like to analyze how people combine their blue jean with different types of clothing, and how they legitimize the use of blue jean. So today, blue jean is very universal, and there is also diversity. There is no more single fashion pattern which dominates the whole world. We have observed diversity all over the world, diversity of style, diversity of taste, and this is why people from diverse cultural backgrounds, they are wearing blue jean.
Sampierhan, Galata, and these streets have become a melting pot of Turkey's rich art and cultural heritage. As we have witnessed, this area unveils a significant contribution not only in Turkey, but in textile industries globally.